Hey, hey, good morning. Happy Monday. I know you're feeling blessed and refreshed. I'm back with another one today. It's Monday all over again. New week, new topic. I'm excited to jump right in. All right. Good morning, Mr. Terry. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you putting the broadcast there. Hey, Steve. Thanks so much for coming in. Thank you, Lord, for another day. I know that's right. Hey, Ken. Good morning. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Frugal Mama. Good morning. Thank you all for being here with me. Um, Today, as you can see by the thumbnail, we're talking about ways to be more patient as a parent. Um, Kids they are something else, right? They're always testing us. They are um especially the little ones, the little toddlers. And then as they get older, maybe what 6, 7, 8, they start to become a little more independent. And then I don't know about yours, but my oldest, she definitely has she talks too much. Let's just keep it real. She talks too much, right? So, with that being said, the kids will have us on edge, and if we don't, if we don't work on ourselves to try not to lose it, then we will do this just that. We'll lose it. So, let me get this on here. These ways, what we're going to talk about this week is things that I actually have tried and I'm still trying, and they work. They definitely work because when it comes to patience, um, excuse me, at some point I had none. So I like to think that I'm a lot better now than I used to be. It's like sometimes I have to repeat myself to get them to listen, but it's like I don't have to. I feel like I'm literally screaming. Um, they find it really easy to listen, and I think it started with me and realizing that I had a problem with being impatient and taking the steps to change it. So, what I am noticing is that there's a lot of not only new moms, there's a lot of young moms. Um, and a lot of us, we think that I'm grown, I can handle this, I don't need help, and so on and so forth. But really, we do. We need a little bit of a direction just to make things not so stressful. And that ultimate direction is going to come from God Himself, because He can definitely help change anything around if you bring it to Him in prayer. But otherwise, we are helpers of one another. So I just pray that you be encouraged as we go through. Mr. Terry says 80% of life is not what happens, but how you react. Yep, the other 20% beyond your control. I know that's right. So, oh, sorry. As you can see by the description, that I'm going to read that because that's where it all started. So what? Okay, so you blew your cool and you flipped your lid a few too many times. Don't beat yourself up about it. We all fall short. When your short fuse has become an everyday thing, self-awareness makes us want to do something about it. The ways discussed this week work for me and continue to work. The best solution is seeking Jesus Christ for guidance. So again, um, we all do it. And even if we are practicing to be patient, even if we do seek God and continue to seek Him throughout the day, and even before we lose our cool in those type of situations, we still are imperfect. So it's still going to happen. Our flesh is still going to rise and fight with our spirit to get us to act inappropriately. So, with self awareness, along with a lot of other things, if we know that this right here is not working, this is frustrating me or whatever, then at what point do we decide to make a change? It could be anything. But this right here is pretty important. Um, about a month or so ago, we talked about ways to stop yelling at our kids, and the number one reason is because yelling actually does two things. It's either gonna scare them to the point where they're trembling in their boots and they just better hurry up and do what you told them, or to the point where it's gonna make them rebel against us. And I thought it was funny a long time ago when people would say, "Oh, you better put the fear in those girls," or "I put the fear in my kids," or whatever. And I don't think that that's okay. That's just me. Um, your kids knowing that you are an authority is one thing, but putting the fear in them is something different. Then they're not actually able to be free and do what they want to do because they're fearful of what you might say or think. So I just don't agree with that part. But anyway, let me not get distracted here. Hey, Unique, good morning. Good to see you. We must remember change is more than metal and paper in your pocket. Yeah, I know that's right. So, with that being said, why is it important? It's important because we want to build relationships with our kids and not just I'm the parent, you're the kid type of relationships, but more so relationships so they can know that they can come and talk to us about anything. Not only, oh, there's something going on at school or um, my little brother and sister is getting on my nerves, but more so like for instance, my oldest, she came to me maybe a month or so ago and she said, "Mom, can we just talk?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's talk. We talk all the time, right?" Well, she wanted to tell me that she's nervous to grow up. And I mean, I'm like, huh? You're nervous to grow up? Well, I'm not gonna um belittle her nervousness, right? I'm not gonna make like it's not a big deal, like I would have done in my past had I not known better. But but with that, it's just time for me to we got to sit down, we got to have a conversation. Like this is something that's going to happen. You're going to become an adult, but I'm here to teach you this and that and the other, and you're here to listen so that you can learn. And God is here to guide me so that He can guide you, and He's there for you as well. And we had to get into that conversation because it's more than just I'm your mom, I'm your dad, I'm your guardian, do what I say, or I'm gonna go cook now, or it's time to clean now, or it's more to it than that. Kids are emotional beings and they are resilient to a certain age. But once they get to be more emotional than resilient, then you're in for a lot of trouble if you don't have a relationship with them for them to come and talk to you. So, um, with that being said, some of the things that we're going to talk about this week are understanding that we have an issue. That self awareness is the number one thing. Understanding that, okay, I'm impatient. Like we're all impatient, but how impatient are you? Is it to the extreme of now you're so agitated that you can't get your words out? Or is it to the point where um, now you didn't even show any indication of being agitated. You just got upset, got up and started doing whatever you do. So the self-awareness is the number one thing. Realizing how bad is it? How are my emotions affecting myself? How are my emotions affecting my kids, my entire family? And then, once you have that self-awareness and now you can embrace it. You can say, "Okay, I need to work on this." Maybe pray if you are a religious person to figure out what you need to do first, what steps you need to take to uh, make yourself a little more less emotional, a less emotional being. And hey, I'm here to tell you, it does not always take a doctor and medication. Just um, having a relationship with Christ, calling out His name, and meaning it with your whole heart, and He will come in and He'll meet you where you are. So we're also going to talk about the fact that just like self-awareness, you got to be diagnosed with impatience. So not again, not by a doctor, but by ourselves because we got self-awareness now. We realize that I got a problem and I got to fix it. So once now you got your self awareness, you can accept your emotions that you're going through. Now we can work on um, those struggles, the things that happen when we do lose our cool. Okay, so either you're going to get a child who's scared or you're going to get a child who's rebellious. It depending on which one you get is how you're going to act, how you're going to react furthermore through this whole situation. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to break it down. And some irritations, for instance, my little one is a whiner. Oh, she whines so much. She's not so much clingy. She goes and does her own thing. But if she can't get the slightest thing, oh, she's screaming. She's cutting up. And I mean, it just took probably the last few months for me to just be like talking to God the whole time, like, please make her stop. Please bring peace. I cannot lose my cool. I cannot do this. But at first, when I didn't have that self awareness, when I didn't realize that there's a reason why she's doing all this, I mean, it's irritating as it would be for anybody. But once I started to ignore her, then those bad behaviors started to stop. And I had people tell me a long time ago, you gotta ignore that crying, you gotta ignore that whining, and I didn't listen. But my goodness, it got worse and it got worse and worse. So anywho, we're also going to talk about the fact that sometimes the kids acting the way they're acting is triggered. It could be triggered from something that happened in the past. It could be triggered from something that's going on right now. Um, that's why it's important to get out and talk to our kids. If they're younger, it's important to get out and play with them, literally on the floor, rolling around, playing with the Barbies, the trucks, whatever it is you have to do. Why? So that you can see how your child is on a normal day-to-day basis. This is how they act. They're feeling good, nothing's wrong, so on and so forth. But when you know that you hit a trigger or you can tell that there's a trigger, then that just goes to show you that you can be on top of that a lot quicker. You can realize that there's a problem. You can diagnose it maybe even because you spend so much time with them when they're happy and being normal that you know that something is wrong right here, right? Know their triggers. Um, they're uh, let's just okay. So for instance, I got to use myself again. My 4-year-old just yesterday. That's funny. She wanted to play with bubbles. The bubble machine wouldn't work. It needs batteries or some sort. So, she gets all upset. I want my bubbles. And she gets to crying and carrying on. Well, after just a little normal whine or whatever she always does, then she gets to screaming and she's wailing and she's getting louder and she won't stop. And I'm like, girl, what's wrong with you? So something told me she might be hungry again. I look at the time like just like a newborn baby. Okay, it's probably been about an hour and a half. Maybe she wants a snack. Let's go. Let's try to change the subject. Let's try to deter this. You know, come on, you want some cereal or whatever. So then by that time, the crying stopped immediately. She's like, cereal? Huh? So that just goes to show you she was not only upset about the bubbles, she was triggered because she was hungry. And she thought that she was already crying. So let me cry a little louder, a little different way. And maybe somebody will pick up on the fact that I'm hungry instead of just saying I'm hungry because she's 4. But that's what kids do. That's what they do. We got to know the triggers. We got to know them um, to the point where most of the time we can stop a meltdown before it gets too crazy. Hey, Anne Marie, good morning. Good to see you. Miss B, hey, good to see you. Anne Marie said, don't miss those days. Don't rub it in. Yep. She's so much better than she used to be, but she still has those meltdowns. And I just, whew, I tell you, God has done something tremendous with me because it takes a lot for me to just sit there and look at her cry and just be like, girl, go on somewhere. All right. So, last but not least, um, I'm just kind of summarizing. We're just talking about what we're going to talk about this week, ways to become a patient parent, things that I'm noticing or things that I've tried that actually worked and um, have made such a big difference in not only my kids, but in me. Just just not being so irritable, not being so eager for the day to go by. I try to go to the library or something with the girls and they get to being all rambunctious. Well, back when I didn't have no patience, I'm ready for it to be over. Like, come on, let's get the books, let's get out of here. But now that I have more patience, they are even more well behaved. And that gives us time to go to the library, to sit down, they can play, we can read, I can get on the computer in a totally different room, and I don't hear them screaming over there because now they know how to behave. Because now um, I've been so much more patient with not only letting them be kids, but with making sure that I control or help control some of their emotions. If they're hungry, if they're sad, if they're tired or mad, so on and so forth. They are kids and there are their emotions, but they look at us as parents to give them some guidance on how to deal with that emotion. And we don't know how to deal with our own emotion, then how can we help them? Hmm. I tell you, I used to be that. I used to be that emotional creature before I had my second. I wouldn't call it postpartum depression or anything. I was just sad. Like every time I thought about something that was going on or something that had happened, I was sad. I was crying. I didn't want to get up. I couldn't clean up. My house was a mess. Uh, the only thing I could do was play with my daughter. Like that was the only thing I could do was be a mom. And I couldn't even do that 100% because I was emotionally drained. But that just goes to show you that when we have that self-awareness and realize there's a problem and we want to change, that what I do know is that we cannot change on our own. So you know, everybody has their own beliefs, but you already know how I do. You know how beliefs go over here. If it wasn't for God and His mercy, then I would not be here talking about it. So it starts with us. We got to know that there's a problem. We got to want to change it. And the number one thing for me that I noticed with being more patient is that I was running around here taking care of the family, spending time with the husband, cleaning, whatever it is that parents do, the moms do, right? And I was not taking any time for myself. Nowadays, I, you know, I don't talk on the phone much. I don't go anywhere besides going to the library or we'll go to the park or something, unless it's with the girls. Like, I don't do much. And what was happening was I was depleting myself trying to make sure they had what they need, trying to make sure the house was clean because I had a moment such a long time of my life where I was down and depressed and sad and I didn't care. So everything went to shambles. So then once God started working on me and I got back up on my feet and I got my strength back and I'm ready to get back to what I know, I started doing all that. And I found that that's all I was doing. I was mom, I was wife, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was caregiver, I was YouTuber, I was I mean like crazy, too much. So that's the number one thing. I was not taking that time out for myself. I should be thanking God that I don't have more than 2 kids so that I can and they're older, right? I don't have any babies. So there's no excuse why I can't take a little time out for myself. And I've been doing that the last couple months. I've been doing that. And we need it. We got to have it. Walking out in nature is the number one thing for me. If I disappear from YouTube and I disappear from my phone or Facebook, then you know that I'm somewhere taking a walk. I'm walking in the woods because we got trails out there. I'm walking on the track at the school. Um, um, heck, I might even put a a big blanket out in my backyard and turn on the projector and I'm having movie night in the backyard with my girls. So if I disappear, then I'm in nature because that's just the number one thing that I need to make me uh like restart, regroup, or however you call it. So it's so important. That's the number one thing. And I can tell you that once you start working on you and once you start getting that relationship with Christ, everything else and everyone else falls in line, literally. And not like you're some superior, not like you're out here making this person do this and making sure that this is that. No, God is in control. He's in control of all of it when we let him in and let him have his way with our life, with our emotions, our mind, our everything, our heart. Um, give your heart to him. Let him come in and do what he pleases, y'all, and everything around you is gonna change for the better. All right. At that time, also, um, the enemy, the enemy works extra hard when you try to get closer to Christ as well. So don't forget that. But that doesn't stop us because joy comes in the morning. We know that all this is not in vain, and we know that it's all going to work out for the good of the Lord. Um, so yeah, stay encouraged. Wonder Woman. A lot of us are Wonder Woman. A lot of us are. Making time for yourself is so important. Yeah, it sure is. Um, and that just makes me think about like when I was just depleting myself, I was like, well, I love my family. I got to take care of my family because I love them. Right. Well, nope, not until I started reading the Bible, not until I had spiritual life coaching and stuff like that, that I realized that I've been loving my family the wrong way. All this time. I have been loving my family the wrong way. So now that I know it's a different ball game and mm, things are better. Things are so much better. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold you any longer. We've been here a little bit. We're gonna go on over and see what Frugal Mama is doing. Yeah, game night or movie night is awesome in your backyard. Yes, in your garage, all you need is a projector. You remember the ones from back in the day when they used to have us watching the movies in class on the projecting screen or whatever. You can have a projector screen. You can have a big white sheet on the wall. Like literally, it's very cheap at Walmart and it's super. All right, y'all. Yes, I know that's right. I know that's right, Mr. Terry. All right. I pray you have the best rest of your day. I thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget, later on today, we are still reading the Bible. Right now, we're in the book of Matthew. So head on over if you can to catch that live at 7:30 or um, catch the replay. It's always up, it's always available. And I pray that you just stay encouraged. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.